The first DLC of Year 2 in Farm Sim 25 has been announced, the Vredo pack. This DLC features multiple different pieces of equipment for running grass overseeding as well as slurry spreading. And we've even got some wild boars which are going to completely ruin your grass fields if you're not careful. This will also be the first DLC in the Year 2 Season Pass, so if you've got that, it will be included here. Just ignore the fact that I don't have the updated artwork yet, and that's about all the information that we've got. So if that's what you're looking for, there you go. Let's break it down a little bit more. So what do we have? Well, it's going to be dropping on March 24th. That is 4 weeks from the release of this video, so make sure you guys are tuned in for that. It is on a Tuesday. Oh yeah, and Ever's Aggro is returning as well. Now, at least right now, we've only got screenshots for a few pieces of equipment. I will go over those with you guys so you can see what's happening, but basically we've got the ability to seed grass over grass and slurry spreading. And boars. Now what's coming? Well, we know some of the stuff as I mentioned. We also know that there'll be a total of 12 machines coming with the DLC. I have no idea how much this is going to cost because unfortunately Giants doesn't give partners any pricing information at a time. We'll leave that linked in the pinned comment. So it does say here as well that the wild boars will be roaming around your land threatening your crops. However, the only one that we've seen so far and the only one confirmed is grass. So let's talk about that overseeding to restore the yield. What is overseeding? Well, this is interesting. What it does basically allows you to seed without tearing up the ground over grass fields. I've done a little bit of research. Turns out this is a real thing, probably with guys that care more about their lawn than I do, but it'll allow you to basically fix what the boars tear up. Imagine we'll be able to turn off the boars, and it says you have to scare them away. I'm probably guessing these are going to pop up kind of like the tornado does where you see it, and then you just be able to run them off. Wonder if we'll be able to run them over. Nah. Anyway, regardless, these machines will let us overseed the grassland and restore it to its original yield potential. And of course, some slurry spreaders. I'm sure you're so excited about that. If you want to read the blog, you can. However, it really just is a fancy way of saying it's going to improve the yield the way all slurry spreaders do. You're welcome. And of course, the return of Ever's Aggro is pretty cool. So the last time we had this was in the Nexat DLC, which was about a year ago, I think, at this point. And that helps you increase efficiency to keep your fields well supplied, aka fertilize after you mow it. Here's where it gets into the interesting part about distracting the boars to protect our yield. They say on top of the new machinery and yield improving technologies, called fertilizing spreading. The pack also introduces new wildlife, and this means a new threat that you'll need to manage. Alongside existing natural events like hurricanes and hail, wild boars can now cause crop damage unless you distract them, which reduces the impact on your yield. Now, unfortunately, this kind of brings up more questions than it answers. You may look at it as it's a teaser, but I don't know about you guys, but I want to know how it works right now in its entirety. So, the boars. What do we got? Well, we've got a couple boars right here, and they look like they're eating around what I assume is a grass field. Now, these guys right here are tearing up the ground, just like you would in a tornado, the hail, as it mentioned. You may also know with those, it kind of rips the ground up, but this new equipment allows us to reseed over that. And I can hear you saying, but what if I turn the boars off and we turn off all damage? Do I need the new equipment? I think you can answer that. And that is it. Interestingly enough, still, they did not update the teaser and the blog. This is an early blog. Why is this not updated? So screenshot time. What do we got? Well, this is our picture again of those wild boars that we just looked at. They ain't the prettiest looking things on Earth. However, they don't look bad in game. They're just ugly animals. In real life, these guys will tear up your property and they will eat just about everything they can find and just ruin it all in the process. But so far, the only thing I'm seeing is grass fields. At least that's the only thing they're on top of. We'll find out, I guess, soon-ish, a couple weeks, depending on what happens, what they do. But I've got a lot of questions about these guys. Now we have the Vredo Agri 290. This is a mechanical overseeder, and direct seed drill. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to turn on the direct drill possibilities. Maybe it doesn't do that in the game. I doubt it, but it does look like we've got a little roller on the back side, and well, this is just going to kind of reseed grass in those areas where we have damage. The 290 probably has something to do with the capacity, maybe around 290 liters. We'll find out that probably soon. It looks like it's 3 to 4 meters at the very least, and for a piece of machinery like this, I doubt you're going to be going back and forth, so it doesn't need to be that big if you're just fixing some spots. Another overseeder, this one is the Vredo Twin 580. Now I'm imagining looking at this, maybe this has to do with the working width, because this looks to be about 5.8 meter working width. So there you go, very, very nice. Again, it's an overseeder, so you're going to be seeding in grass over top of grass that's already there without having to rip up the ground. I'm also looking behind the seeder just to see, get any hints of what it looks like, and I'm getting kind of an idea. So it looks like it's a little different on the left from the way that it is on the right-hand side of the seeder. So, I don't know, it looks pretty good. And then we have what looks to be like yellow wings on both sides. I'm not quite sure how those are working or even what their purpose is. But we do know that this whole thing will fold up, so maybe they're protectors for the discs on the bottom when it's folded. Now we get into some slurry spreading. And here's the thing. I'm sure somebody's going to be real pumped about this. However, I think we've got about 1 million slurry spreaders at this point. Is slurry spreading more popular than I think it is in the game? Let me know. Either way, I think it's safe to say that this DLC is not targeted towards the US player base. Either way, this is called the VT5536-1. And actually, another screenshot that we've got is actually the 36-2. However, on the side of the machine, it says 22,000V. So I don't know who to listen to. Both of these machines also feature those same little yellow flaps on the side. So maybe it's got something to do with the folding animation. I'm not quite sure. Either way, it does look like we're going to have some interesting capabilities on this machine at the very least. So if you're looking for some different steering modes, well, obviously we're seeing it here in crab steer mode, and same thing goes for here as well. Something else I find interesting is around the back of the machine. It's actually showing some of the grass is a little bit longer than the grass that is to like the left and to the right of this machine. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with it, but hopefully we'll have some interesting capabilities or maybe something a little bit new other than, hey, here's another slurry spreader. That would be boring, wouldn't it? We also have a teaser video, so let's take a look at that. Some pretty interesting stuff in here and a couple more questions. Obviously, this machine right here is that 22,000 that we've seen, but this right here, this is a feeder, and I don't know if that's in Farming Simulator or not. I don't know. I mean, this is, I think, obviously, right? This is on Riverbend Springs. Please be on Riverbend Springs. I think it is. And I don't know exactly where they are, but it does look like Riverbend. Nonetheless, this guy right here, this feeder, we got some animals around it. Is this going to be something that we have to use to scare off the boars? That seems a little bit weird, doesn't it? Also, speaking of, here they are. They are tearing this field up. They're just kind of walking around. I imagine it's not going to be exactly where they are. It's just, 1 second there's no damage, and then the next second there is damage. I'm guessing that's how that's going to work. But chasing them off is something that I don't know how it's going to work. But here they are, just running for their lives. So, yeah, somebody scared them off. And then here we go. Here we're back to the 22,000 again. And it's going to spread some slurry. Ah, yeah. And then you can see all of the equipment here. So we've got the little guy and then a couple bigger pieces of equipment, unless it's two of the same pieces. And then here's a piece that we actually haven't seen yet. This one's the 32,000Z. It is a much, much larger piece of equipment. Well, at least it's a little bit bigger anyway. It's 3 axles instead of 2. is big. I don't know, man. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Horsch back in the day whenever they first released that. Still very cool, and I'll be interested to see all of the equipment. As of right now, seems a little bit of a letdown for the first DLC of year 2. It's been kind of rough, and it would be nice to see some excitement for more players other than just those. I imagine that this DLC is probably going to hit a very small portion of the community, but I hope I'm wrong. There you go. What do you think? The Vredo pack being released on March 24th here in just 4 weeks. Hopefully this video helped you out, gave you some information on and gave you a little bit of an opinionated statements as well, but gotta be honest with you at the end of the day. Just, you know, hey, that's who we are. I feel like I can be honest with you. If you got any questions, you can let me know. And if you want to take a look at this blog, it is just the Giant Software blog. We'll make sure we leave a link down below for you guys as well, in case you want to check it out. Regardless, that's all I've got for you for today. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see you in the next one.